Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA, coming to you live from downtown Flushing, New York, for another episode of. Actually, we're going to be talking about the workshop I'm doing tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a bunch of people registered, and my team and I have been working on it. We're still working on it. I'll be working late at night to bring you some uh, really cutting edge tax stuff. I think, anyway, stuff that I've been teaching my clients, putting into practice for over the last 35 years, but stuff apparently that most business owners don't know about. Most business owners that don't have a CPA that's going to be teaching them. And if you're watching live, give me a hashtag live, please. And if you're watching the replay, I hope it's in time to sign up for the webinar for tomorrow. And I put the link in the chat box there. So let's go through a couple of things that I'm going to be covering in this presentation. And what's going to be a little different about this, we're going to make it interactive, and I want people to try to stump me on some of these issues. If you know me, I stick to my guns. I say that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And almost all of this stuff, almost all of these topics are areas that I have been practicing, like I said, for well over 30 years. Even the LLC versus S Corp issue has only been around as long as the LLCs have been around. But it's definitely made things a lot more confusing for people. And this is the crux of what this webinar is going to be. I'm gonna pull the curtains back and show everybody exactly, how it is and why it's so complicated, why it's so confusing, and more importantly, how we can make it less confusing and less complicated. And I'm going to show you how I could clear away all of the distractions, all of the compliance rules, the crazy hoops that business owners have to jump through, starting with just setting up your business. Now, I've been talking about this the last couple of days, but most people don't even know when the business actually starts, which is a problem, because if you don't know when it started, how are you going to know when you could start writing stuff off? And I'm going to talk about what you can write off, stuff like that, what you can't write off and why. Record keeping, what kind of records do you have to have if you ever get audited? And I got to tell you right now, I've had one client audited, and it was before I was a CPA. It was a college buddy of mine. He was a Schedule C, and I talk about this stuff. He got audited because he was a Schedule C. Well, not long after that, he was the first person that I created an S Corp for, and he still got that corporation. Actually, no, he has a different corp because he moved down to Florida, but I'm going to be talking about stuff like, why you don't have to keep the kind of detailed automobile records that they tell you have to keep. What's the real deal with independent contractors, and even, creative ways on how to pay yourself. Did you know that there's different ways to take money out of your business that you can avoid paying taxes? And that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to be sprinkling in a lot of true stories, okay? Al Capone, I had nothing to do with him getting nabbed, but it was an accountant. Gasseteria, one of the first big big tax cases that I ever worked on, and it was huge. It was the largest sales tax case in New York State history at the time. And you may not recognize the name, but this went all the way. This was big. So I have to. You'll have to show up tomorrow to find out. Criminal tax prep firms. That's right, folks. They're out there. The IRS is looking for them, and if you're doing business with one of them, you're likely to get sucked into their problems. Regular IRS criminal investigations, where people like the FBI get involved. Major dollar figure IRS audit cases, regular sales tax and payroll tax audits. And one of my favorites is getting penalties abated and sometimes even getting taxes wiped out in what you call an offer and compromise. I've done plenty of those. And I'm also going to be showing you how our Bedrock CFO system works. We're going to be going into business structures again, because it's so important. And last but not least, I'm gonna cover how the IRS actually works, because I'm going to take some of the mystery out of what this entity represents, what they really represent, and how they do business, and why you shouldn't really fear the IRS. They're not the enemy. Believe it or not. Yeah, we got to do a lot of things through the IRS because that's how the system is set up. But once you recognize the breakdown on how the system is set up and what happens to your return and how they pick it for audit, if they do, why are you getting notices, and what are the repercussions for not answering them or answering them wrong? How about if I showed you exactly how to answer a tax notice on your own? I don't recommend it, but I'm going to show you how I do it. And I've written probably tens of thousands of letters back to the government. And it's getting worse, folks. I've been writing more letters to try to protect my clients than ever. And COVID has a lot to do with that. 9/11 has a lot to do with that, with the fact that the government is all over us with everything. And the fact that the states and cities just need your money. They want your money through payroll taxes and sales taxes and any other kind of registration fees and nickel and dimes that they can get from you. So that's what we're going to be covering. I'm still preparing. It's going to be hot off the presses, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Sign up. You got to be in the room to get the bonuses and the free giveaways, which we will announce tomorrow. God bless. Thank you all.